It's been a long time coming, but we are finally ready to go with more errands to run around Monteriggioni. But worry not, it will all pay amazing dividends later on down the line. Hello again, everyone. Luke Lynch, Commander of the Legion, back once more with Let's Play Assassin's Creed 2. Little over a year ago, we arrived at Monteriggioni and were given a private guided tour of the pretty much the entire place by none other than Fred Tatasciore, aka Mario Auditore. This time around, before we get to the mission here, which we will do this episode, we are going to we're actually going to go around Monteriggioni and find all the chests if we haven't already. I can double check on that real quick, but I do not think we have. It's very easy to check. You just go into your data screen, memories screen, 11 of 71, and no, we have not found any treasures. Okay, all right, let's do that. Right, I just remembered. Okay, all right, never mind. We got to be able to buy the treasure map from the art merchant before we can find any treasures. I seem to remember having one in the back in Florence. Excuse me. Before we had to skip town. All right. So with that in mind, let's head into the villa and talk to Claudia. Give it a second.
Don't worry. We're only staying here for a little while.
I don't like it here. I want to go home.
I know.
And then, once the girls are off doing their thing, we're going to want to head over this way. Shame Ezio doesn't want to stay. It's a bit of a fixer-upper, but you know what? It's got a lot of space, it's got a lot of function, and you have Fred Tatasciore. What more could you want? Already read about him last time.
Uncle. I did as you asked.
And quickly too, ben fatto. Now, let's teach you how to fight.
No. As I said, we are leaving.
Ezio, you barely held your own against Vieri. You won't survive a week on the road. If you want to leave, so be it. But at least do so armed with the skills and knowledge necessary to defend yourself. If not for me, for your mother and sister.
Fine.
Ottimo.
Practice does indeed make perfect. But you'll note that he said, and quickly too. Bro, it took us over a year to get back to you. If that's quickly for you, I don't want to know what slowly is. But yeah, Mario is going to teach us how the rest of the game is going to go. At least in terms of combat.
You must survive long enough to strike. I will teach you how to dodge.
You said my father was more than just a banker.
No use dancing around, I suppose. Your father was an assassin?
I told you before. My father was a paper pusher.
No. He was born and bred to kill.
I find this difficult to believe.
Which is not a surprise.
Bene, I've taught you how to avoid your enemy's attacks. Now you'll learn how to turn them to your advantage.
All this talk of assassins and Templars. It reeks of fantasy.
Like something from an old parchment covered in arcane writing, perhaps?
How did you know?
You have your father's blade. I think that you have the codex page holding as well.
And so we do.
È un duello, Fesso. Shall we die? Vogliamo aprire le danze.
You're making fine progress, Ezio. Today I'm going to teach you how to position yourself in battle. Where you stand and how you move can make all the difference.
He's not wrong.
Don't think I haven't seen you picking apart my library. I trust you believe me now?
Yes. My father was an assassin. But why the need for such secrecy?
Are you familiar with the Templars? One of several knightly orders formed during the Crusades. History teaches they were disbanded nearly 200 years ago in France. Only they weren't. Merely pushed underground, where they continued their nefarious work.
Yeah, I suck at dodging. Piccolo would hate me. Dodge! Whack! Again! Whack! Again! Whack! As you can see, the timing window for countering is a little bit more forgiving than it was in the original game.
Well done, Nipote. You've really come into your own.
Thank you, Uncle, for all you have given me.
Your family. Such is my duty and my desire.
I'm glad you had me stay.
Good. You've reconsidered leaving.
We sail for Spain in 3 days.
But Nipote, I have given you these skills that you might be better prepared to strike against our enemies.
And if they find me, I will.
You want to leave, Ezio? To throw away everything your father fought and died for? To deny your heritage? Fine. Come vuoi. Arrivederci e buona fortuna.
Uncle, wait! Why is he so upset?
How can he not be? Vieri's been harassing us ever since you first arrived. To be expected, I suppose, given his heritage.
So, an inordinate amount of time has passed, or rather an undetermined amount of time has passed since we first arrived in Monteriggioni. Apparently, Vieri de' Pazzi has been like a rabid dog with a bone, just will not let go. So Ezio realizes, cazzo, I've got stuff to do.
Uncle!
God, my Italian accent is horrible.
Where is everyone?
They ride for San Gimignano to slay that snake, Vieri.
I wish...
Vieri de' Pazzi, the youngest member of the second most notorious Florentine banking family. This kid knew how to burn right through his father's money. Outside of spending sprees involving weaponry, exotic animals, and clothes, he was fiercely competitive. Vieri hosted races of all kinds: boating, horseback riding, running. All of them rigged, of course. And get this, if through some amazing stroke of luck he ever lost, he'd invite the winner's entire family over for a victory dinner and serve them a meal to die for.
So, yeah. In other words, screw this guy.
Join them.
You'll find what you need at the stables.
go check on Maria before leaving. And I believe she is upstairs, or maybe she's in here. Yeah, she must be upstairs. Specifically,
Ezio, look at her. I still can't get her to talk. She spends all day and night in front of those feathers Petruchio used to collect. She can't let them go. I don't know what to do.
Don't worry. She'll come back to us. I know it.
the third child of Giovanni and Maria Auditori, and the first girl in the family, Claudia seems to have been a bit of a spoiled brat. It looks like her parents had to raise her dowry by 1,000 florins after she scared away all her potential suitors. A report from her school indicates she once attacked another girl for looking at her boyfriend and knocked her out cold. On the plus side, she's Ezio's sister, so you should be safe. Maybe from the physicality, but not from much else. And now we know the point of all the feathers laying around Italy. Check that out later. Cat's probably knocked something over. Did not mean to run down the banister, but whatever. Alright. They ride for San Gimignano, or is it Gimignano or Gimignano? I have no friggin' clue how to pronounce that still.
Noble prices for noble way.
This game's been out for 10 years and I still don't know how to pronounce certain names. Off we go to Tuscany. Now, let's be honest, the only reason we're heading into the city proper right now is to get the viewpoints. There we go. Oh, this game is lagging like a son of a bitch. Ooh, hey, a Borgia messenger. You don't want to kill these guys, but if you can tackle them, you win a butt ton of money. Look at that.
Now you have it.
Now, on the way to our first viewpoint in... Whoops. Sorry, fellas.
Like a cat. By hell, you better never try that again. Get down there. I want him caught now.
So we lose the guards, and now we have an ever so slight bit of notoriety. Easily fixed with a single poster rip. But first, Torre Rognoso. Connected to the 13th century Palazzo Vecchio del Podesta, The Torre Rognosa rises 51 meters above San Gimignano. Podesta, power in English, was the title given to the appointed head of many Italian cities. The Palazzo Vecchio was the residence of the Podesta of San Gimignano for about 100 years, until in 1337 he moved across the square into the Palazzo Comunale. Why would Podesta simply abandon tradition like that? Perhaps because the Palazzo Comunale has the largest tower in San Gimignano. Tower envy. Do not underestimate it as a force for change. There we go. Alright, now we gotta figure out how to get back up there. So how much of the map did that reveal? Truthfully, not much. But, as noted earlier, it will show us where all the other viewpoints are in the region. So, I say we go knock them out, and I will see you guys once I'm done. Also, we'll want to buy these. I'll hold off on that.
You'll be well satisfied, I know it.
Another messenger. Let's see if we can grab him. There you are.
Noble places for noble ways. Murderer! Stay back!
Well, please be careful, amico.
Only the height of the smithy axe are available here. If you are on stomach or launch you had best turn away.
Never thought I'd be teaming up with the town guards to take out a messenger.
Murderer! Stay back! Guard! Stop him! Help! Stay away from me!
Arrivederci, gentlemen. I'll be with you as soon as I can, Uncle. I'll read this real quick and then I'll cut back away. Founded in 1313 by Bernardo Tolomei, the monastery of Monte Oliveto Maggiore is Benedictine in practice. Benedictine monks are the most mainstream, practicing peace, prayer, and work, while living in autonomous communities with their own local government. Easy for me to say. Monte Oliveto Maggiore owned most of the land in the Siena region, so having its own private government would come in handy when dealing with such riches, as would a good lawyer. Fortunately, Bernardo Tolomei was a jurist, leaving the monastery in a very lucrative state by the time he died. Okay, while we're here, we may as well take care of the glyph and the, excuse me, the feather that are here. So, really quick, I'm gonna drop down here, take a look up at the building, and see where this glyph might happen to be. There's the feather. I literally just saw it. Gimme. Where's that glyph? There you are.
Do you see what's going on? Not yet. But you will.
Instruments of power. The power they wielded cut down their enemies. So we're going to want to look for people that have swords or knives, something. Piece of Eden 25. Sword. Jesus Christ. How many of these things did they make? In their hands, the wise lean on a great force. So, what do you lean on? That's a common feature in all 5 of the pictures. Typically, it would be something like a walking stick, but as a longtime RPG player, walking sticks are often represented as staves, or staffs, however the hell you want to pronounce it. So you'll want to look for a staff in the 5 pictures. We got John the Baptist already, but we also want Alexander the Great, Shabbataka, excuse me, Peter, and Moses. And there's Piece of Eden 34, the staff, with the apple at its centerpiece. Keep the staff and the apple in mind. They will come back to play before the end of this game. Alright, time to cut away until our next viewpoint. Did not mean to land on the horse, but whatever. I'll take it. Now, I think this might hold the record for being the shortest viewpoint in the game. I could be wrong on that, but... could also be this one. Then again, this is Tuscany, basically. Known for gentle rolling hills and vineyards. So you don't have to go very high to get a good view of the place. Now, I believe there is a feather over here, so... Ooh, hey, Villa Salviati. Let's see. Made wealthy through his connections to the Pope, Archbishop Francesco Salviati purchased this Tuscan villa in 1475 in anticipation of becoming Archbishop of Florence. He spent the next few years having it renovated in the Tuscan style, while plotting with the Pazzi family to invade Florence. Sadly, this left him very little time to enjoy it before his inevitable demise. After the conspiracy went south, archival documents indicate that Salviati swapped his archbishop outfit with one of the residents of Florence, who was then lynched in his place while he escaped to his villa. So we had a little bit of story spoilers. There's a conspiracy going down, and it's obviously not gonna work. Well, I mean, it might work, but at some point or another, it's gonna go south. And it's gonna go south hard. What that conspiracy is, however, and what it aims to do, remain a mystery. Already see the feather right there. Points we have left to do are within the walls of the city. But before we head off and take care of those, let's go down to this amphitheater over here. Because there are a feather and a glyph that we need to get. Antico Teatro Romano. Inspired by Greek theatres, which had a similar structure, ruins of ancient Roman theatres can be found throughout the territories once ruled by the empire. Typical Roman theatres were constructed of concrete, a material no longer used in Renaissance Italy because the recipe had been lost. Their semicircular design created superior acoustics, allowing spectators to hear the plays, speeches, or choral events performed on stage. Notice the lack of marble? Renaissance Italians practiced a rudimentary form of recycling when dealing with Roman structures. Any marble that could be found was ripped off the buildings to be reused for free. So yeah, if Renaissance era Italians had their shit together when it comes to recycling, why can't America get their shit together? Glyph, I believe, is over here somewhere. Sure enough, there it is.
They were mostly heroes. See how the lineage is disrupted? The web of history traps the good, and the evil take what is not theirs.
Hot damn, I love Cam Clark. Brothers! Okay, so we have another circular puzzle. Let me do this one quick thing. There we go. So, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to move ring 1 2 notches left, move ring 2 3 notches left, move ring 4, which is linked to ring 3, 1 notch right, move ring 5, which is linked to ring 4, 3 notches right, and then we need merely move ring 3 to complete the puzzle. And Satan said unto Cain, Swear unto me by thy throat, and if thou tell it, thou shalt die. As you can see, Abel is reaching out. So rotate ring 1, 3 to the left, 1 to the left for ring 3, ring 4, which is linked to ring 2, 4 to the left, ring 5, 1 to the right, and rotate ring 2 to complete the puzzle. So all of these circular pictures will depict the fight between Cain and Abel. And once again, they're fighting over the apple. Noah, not Noah, he built the ark about 2 millennia later. But, actually a lot more than that. It was about 6 millennia later. Maybe even more than that. But no. Okay, for this picture, we gotta rotate ring 1, 3 left. Rotate ring 3, 1 to the right. Ring 4, 5 to the left. Ring 5, 1 to the left. And rotate ring 2. But yeah, this implies that they were not fighting for the favor of over the favor of God. They were fighting over a piece of Eden. And Cain said, Truly I am Mahan, the master of this great secret. There we go, much better. There it goes. And this is right at the moment that Cain kills Abel. Wherefore Cain was called Master Mahan, and he glorified, or rather he gloried, excuse me. He gloried in his wickedness.
Behold, The mark of Cain.
Obviously, the implications here is that Cain is the original Templar and Abel is the original assassin. The Morse code at the bottom reads, Templar texts adapted by Mr. Smith. Could that be Joseph Smith? Yeah, it has to be, because Master Mahan is only present in the Mormon texts. Not to mention, the founders of the Mormon Church were also Freemasons, which leads back to the George Washington FDR Freemason link back in the third puzzle. If you take that through to its logical conclusion, it means the Mormons are basically another front for the Templars. How wide does this conspiracy go? I actually don't think I want to know. And fun fact, for those of you who don't know, I actually used to attend a Mormon church. Make of that what you will. I jest, of course. The Mormons, every Mormon I've met, I've got pretty much the same story about the Mormons as everybody else. Every single Mormon person that I have met, uncommonly, incredibly nice people. Just wonderfully kind, generous, caring, always willing to lend an ear to your troubles. Absolutely wonderful people, and they do a great work.
My God, has his mind snapped?
Oh, now I get what this is. That's an escaped prisoner.
Why are you? You should not be up here. Stop. Get down.
Back here. Yeah. Now you don't get as much money for capturing for tackling the escaped prisoner as you do for tackling the messengers. Oh no, it's not a escaped prisoner, it's a thief. There's a messenger.
No, stay away from me.
If we could control our jumps to that extent, I don't think we would have a need for transportation. Mi dispiace.
Stop, amico. I wish you no harm.
Now, real quick, while we're in this area, let's get that feather that we saw. Ooh, hey, another database entry. Referred to as the Duomo by locals, even though it doesn't deserve the title because the town has no bishop, Santa Maria Assunta was built in the 12th century. Shockingly, it has no tower, although in San Gimignano, the city of towers, such an act of celibacy coming from a church was probably a smart move. Yep. So that's that. then let's take care of this last viewpoint, and then we'll grab everything else around the city. Actually, how long have I been recording? Jesus Christ, it's almost an hour. Okay, well, we'll get this last viewpoint, and then we'll call it an episode. On the Torre del Diavolo. Probably built for medieval defense, the Torre del Diavolo once had a walkway at its summit. The wooden spikes around the top held the boards of the walkway in place. Depending on who you ask, the name, the Devil's Tower, comes from either the fact that lightning once struck the tower, or that the original owner left on a trip, only to come back and find it slightly higher than when he left. Ooh, hey, there's a glyph up here. Let's do that real quick. Keep on seeking, and you will find. First plucked from a tree guarded by a snake, its powers perform miracles. Then, worn across the ages, torn asunder, hidden under a sea of red, reconstruct the timeline. Okay, plucked from a tree guarded by a snake refers to the Apple of Eden. Or rather, the apple from the Garden of Eden, which we all know is to be the Piece of Eden. I used to know what that translated out to, but I forget now. They took it. Piece of Eden 66. The Golden Shroud? Or rather, the Golden Fleece, I should say? Alright, so that is every viewpoint in Tuscany / San Gimignano. Let's take out this guard real quick, so that way we have easy access back to the city. Alright, so, thank you everybody for watching, and yeah, look forward to the next one. In which we will finish up collecting everything there is to collect in Tuscany. After which, we will move on with the story. See you guys then.